Hey friends, what is up and welcome back. As you guys can tell, we're doing something a little bit different this month for my June TBR. I don't normally pick TBRs, but I was feeling really inspired. Like everybody else, I have fallen in love with Olivia Rodrigo's new album, and I decided to pick my TBR based on some of the lyrics from her songs. So what I've done is compiled my favorite lyric from each of her songs that she recently released and pick a book based on those lyrics. This is definitely different from the way that I normally pick a TBR. Normally it's just what I want to read or, you know, kind of books that I've had on my shelves for a long time. Most of these books are books that are within the things that I have been reading recently, and some of them are books that I've been wanting to read for a while that I finally have a way to put them on my TBR. So what I've done is chosen a lyric from each of her songs. I went through and kind of read the songs online, read the lyrics, kind of what she was trying to portray. I also read sort of like the vibes of the song as well, like people's opinions of them. And I've chosen a song for each lyric that really spoke to me. These are in no particular order. I'm gonna kind of go over what the lyric is and sort of how I translated that into a book that I want to read for the month of June. The first song that I have here is Favorite Crime. This is, I think, people's least favorite songs from what I was reading on the album. It's kind of sad because I actually think it's kind of cool. It has like a very temptation, sort of forbidden vibe. It definitely has some scandal attached to it, but it says, bittersweet to think about the damage that we do, because I was going down, but I was doing it with you. Yeah, everything we broke and all the trouble that we made, but I say that I hate you with a smile on my face. I love that. Like, she definitely has the perfect, like, angsty lyrics, so it really speaks to me. This is definitely not an album that's normally in a genre that I listen to, but I just absolutely love it. For that book, I actually chose Temptation by Ivy Smoke. This is an author I've never read anything from, but this is a professor kind of romance, which I know there's a lot of drama surrounding those, and I feel like it's very hard to pull that off in a way that is okay. You know what I mean? Because recently I've read some books where the students were, or like the relationships that were happening were between two 18-year-old high school students, and that kind of made me feel a little uncomfortable. But I'm hoping the relationship between Taylor and James, that is the professor's name, will be, I don't want to say like a good relationship, because obviously we're kind of going for scandal here, and these types of books usually have a lot of scandal with them, but I'm hoping it's done in a slightly tactful way. They are adults, which is what I've read, but basically it's like a forbidden romance book between a professor and a student, so hopefully this ends up being a book that I like. The next song that we have here is Jealousy, Jealousy, and it says, comparison is killing me slowly. I think too much about kids who don't know me. I'm so sick of myself, rather be anyone else, but jealousy, jealousy started following me. For this one, I kind of got the vibes, obviously, of Jealousy, name of the song, but I got the vibes of somebody who wants to be more and compares themselves to other people. For this book, I actually chose Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert? I always say this wrong. Hibbert. I'm really excited to read this because I have read the first two books and absolutely loved them, but everybody said that they love Eve even more than the original two sisters, so that's really exciting to me. Basically, the reason why I chose this without like seeing too many spoilers for myself, because I've been waiting and waiting and waiting to read this book, is Eve is afraid to reach for more. Like, she sees people achieving things that she wants to achieve, but she finds herself afraid to kind of reach out and take that. And that is why I chose this for this song, because I don't necessarily think that Eve is jealous, but I do think that Eve does do the whole like comparison thing and believing that maybe she's not able to achieve what other people have achieved. So that is why I chose Act Your Age, Eve Brown for that one. I've had way too much coffee today. I'm gonna continue to drink coffee, but I'm sorry if I stumble over my words, that is why. The next song, this is actually probably one of my favorite songs off the entire album, and it's one step forward, three steps back, and the lyrics go, and maybe in some masochistic way, I kind of find it all exciting, like, which lover will I get today? Will you walk me to the door or send me home crying? I definitely felt this one in my soul. For this one, because I think I felt it so hard, I did choose a toxic or messy romance kind of vibe. And for that one, I chose Corrupt Kingdom. Basically, I believe this is a standalone romance. It is by Ava Harrison. Sorry, I'm looking at my computer here. But basically, it's about a girl whose father sells her to, like, he loses in a bet, like he's gambling, and he sells her to a guy named Cyrus Reed. He is an underworld or a mafia boss, and basically she ends up going to an island, and it is because when she is sold by her father, or given up basically as a debt to Cyrus by her father, Cyrus decides that it is his job to protect her. And I'm gonna go ahead and just say that I've fallen in love with like mafia romances and things like that recently, so I was like, this is 100% up my alley. I love the corrupt character, like the toxic, messy, corrupt character that for some reason has a soft spot for protecting his woman. So that is why I chose this one. Hopefully I like it. It's another author that I haven't read anything by. The next song that we have here is Hope You're Okay. That is like my one pet peeve with this album. I know it's very like Gen Z, and I don't really believe in like the millennial Gen Z kind of thing, but I don't like the abbreviations for songs. Like instead of Hope You're Okay, it's You Are Okay, which kind of bugs me, but I'm trying to get over it. But the lyrics are, does she know how proud I am she was created with the courage to unlearn all of their hatred? We don't talk much, but I just gotta say, I miss you and I hope that you're okay. The reason why I chose this song is I really wanted to focus on a character. Like this felt very character driven to me. And the book that I chose is The Murmur of Bees. I believe you pronounce her name Sofia Segovia. The reason why I chose this is it is a translated to English novel. It is originally in Mexican fiction, but it is about a mysterious child with the power to change a family's history and a country on the verge of revolution. So I thought that was really cool. It is set against the backdrop of the Mexican Revolution and the influenza of 1918. So it also says that it captures the fate of a country in flux and the destiny of one family that has put their love, faith, and future in the unbelievable. And for me, this song seems very, you know, about being proud of who you are and where you come from, and that's kind of just like the vibe that I got from those lyrics. So that is why I chose The Murmur of Bees. And I think for me, it just, when I saw this book, I was like, this just sounds like something I'm really going to like. I love historical fiction and I love translated work, so I thought that was a really good choice for that. The next song that I have here is Happier, and it says, so find someone great, but don't find no one better. I hope you're okay, but don't be happier. I definitely also really resonated with that. And for this one, I chose It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Basically, what I chose is a little bit more along the lines of like a messy kind of second chance romance, but basically this is a little bit of a love triangle when it comes to, what's her name? Lily. Our main character's name is Lily. She falls in love with a man when she is younger, or a boy when she is younger, and then obviously things don't work out and she starts a new relationship, and then her past love comes back. This is the first Colleen Hoover book I've read. She is an author that a lot of people talk about, say, you know, you absolutely 100% need to read. I've never read anything by her, so I thought that this would be a good reason to read her, and it's also part of the reason why I don't know too much about the book, because when trying to put together this TBR, I was trying to avoid as many spoilers as possible, because when I do my wrap up, I want to see if I was like spot on with the books that I chose and kind of why I chose them. So really excited to finally read something by Colleen Hoover. The next song that I have is everybody's favorite. It's Deja Vu. So When You Gonna Tell Her That We Did That Too? She thinks it's special, but it's all reused. For this, I chose Vicious by L J Shen. And the reason I chose that, there are two main characters, Vicious and Amelia. Amelia and Vicious kind of grow up together. If you've read anything of the Saint and Sinners kind of world, these are the hot holes. These are the dads of another series that I've actually already finished and read and really liked. But basically they're in love, but she refuses to date him because I don't really understand why. I think in the series that I've kind of already read, they sort of put it together, but she basically ends up dating one of his friends. So it's kind of the vibe that I get, that everything that she's doing with this new guy is things that she wishes she could do with Vicious. So that's kind of why I decided to choose that one. I have read things by L J Shen, obviously. Some of them are very, very spot on and I love them, and some of them are pretty awful. You guys will kind of see that in my wrap that I do. So the next song that I have on here is Brutal, and it says, I don't stick up for myself, I'm anxious and nothing can help, and I wish I'd done this before, and I wish people liked me more. For this one, I chose Between between perfect and real by Ray Stoev, I believe is how you say this. But basically this is about a transgender boy named Dean, and Dean is kind of discovering who he is by watching YouTube videos and just like culture in general, like exploring the internet and such. But basically he is cast as non-traditional Romeo, and I believe people in his life don't really understand or don't know that he is transgender, but he basically realizes he wants everyone to see him as he really is, not just on the stage, but everywhere in his life. And then it says, Dean knows what he needs to do. Can playing a role help Dean be his true self? I just really like this, and I thought that it really resonated with the lyrics where it says, I wish people liked me more. I wish I'd done this before. I'm anxious. I don't stick up for myself. It just really, I think, was a good connection in my mind to choose that book. And I have not heard anybody talk about it. If you've read it and liked it, let me know what you did think about it, because like I said, I feel like it's something that people would really be speaking about, but I haven't heard anybody talk about it. The next one that we have here is Good for You, and it says, I've lost my mind. I've spent the night crying on the floor of my bathroom, but you're so unaffected. I really don't get it, but I guess good for you. For this one, I chose Not Pretending Anymore by Penelope Ward. So basically this is about a roommate or a woman who's looking for a roommate, and she decides to interview people to become roommates, and she interviews a man named Declan Tate, and she decides, you know, I don't want you to live with me. And then he does come back like over and over again, like, hey, I want to live with you here, you know, like trying to sweeten the deal. And they start having kind of like a best friends scenario. If you've read Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating, this is pretty much why I chose this one. But basically it is about them fake dating in an effort to get their crushes to notice them, and they end up kind of like falling in love, which I thought was, I don't know, just like perfect for the scenario. The next song that we have here is Enough for You, and it says, I wore makeup when we dated because I thought you'd like me more. If I looked like the other prom queens, I know that you loved before. For this book, I chose The Deal by Elle Kennedy, and basically this is about a character who sort of changes herself in an effort to get her crush to notice her. Our main character's name is Hannah, and she basically ends up tutoring the annoying, childish, and cocky captain of the hockey team in exchange for a pretend date, because she has a lot of baggage when it comes to relationships and sex, and she's trying to change herself in an effort to get this hockey player to notice her. I've heard really good things about Elle Kennedy. If you've read anything by her and you've enjoyed it, once again, let me know, because there are certain authors that are super popular on like Kindle Unlimited and just in the romance genre in general, and I've heard some good and bad things about them. So if you have an opinion, please let me know. The next song that we have here is one of the most popular songs off the album, and for a very good reason. It's Driver's License. So for this, it says, I guess you didn't mean what you wrote in that song about me, because you said forever, now I drive alone past your street. This, I decided to choose a book kind of based around music, but also an underdog story. So for this, I chose The Guy on the Right by Kate Stewart. This is basically about a guy who gets the girl in the beginning of the book, I'm pretty sure, but he's kind of in like a fight with his friend who is trying to steal his girl. But it says, spoilers, the underdog wins. He is a musician. He is kind of fighting with his football player royalty roommate to keep his girl. Our main character's name is Theodore, and he's a former band geek, and I don't know, I think that that's super sweet. So that is kind of why I chose this one, because it has like that music aspect of things, and it is I don't know, just like an underdog story. I thought that was really fun, and I've never read anything by Kate Stewart either. I know that's another author that people are like, you have to read it, you have to read things by her, but I just haven't. And the last song that we have here is Traitor. It says, it took you 2 weeks to go off and date her. Guess you didn't cheat, but you're still a traitor. I love this song. Like, the music of the song is just phenomenal, but this gave me mystery and thriller vibes. So I wanted a book that had twists and turns and secrets, because there was a lot of, I don't know, like a feeling of betrayal in the lyrics, obviously, and like the feel of the song. There was a little bit of rage in it. So what I wanted was a book that had a twist, or a book that had a lot of secrets, or, you know, like somebody has a dark secret. So for that, I chose We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. This is basically about a group of 4 friends. Something happens to one of the friends and no one really knows. And I believe the character who something happens to doesn't even really know what's going on. This is a book that if you have heard anything about, people just like, all of the reviews are incredibly vague because apparently it's very slow in the beginning, but it is worth it for the twist at the end, which is why I chose it. But I don't know, I just, like I said, I just wanted a story that had a lot of twists and turns and like some secret endings and stuff, so that is why I chose that one. I'm really excited to read these books. If you are reading any of these books or have read any of these books, let me know what you thought of them down below. But that is my TBR for the month of June. Definitely kind of all over the place when it comes to certain themes. Like I said, I know the album is very like angsty, but I wanted to try to keep as much of like a variety of books that I could. So some of these lyrics might be a little bit of a stretch for the books that I chose, but I hope you guys kind of see where I was going. Keep an eye out for my June wrap up and I'll let you know if I felt like I chose good books or not. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know down below, like I said, if you've read any of these or what you're planning to read for June. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching and I will see you in my next video.